Hey there, folks. Chris Waters here, getting excited for the launch of Champions of Anteria. And with me, the creative director, Mikna Dragoman. Mikna, your game is out, and we are playing it, and I want people to understand my favorite 3 things about this game, so we're going to talk through them, all right?
Good.
Number 1, the elemental-based tactics in the combat. That is a huge part of what makes this game so compelling.
The idea behind that is being in our game is aligned to one magical element. So out of the 5 we have, so metal, fire, lightning, nature, and water. And basically this works in a rock, paper, scissors kind of mechanic, in which each one is good against the next one, clockwise on this kind of wheel, right? And this kind of influences every decision you make in terms of who fights who, what ability should I use against whoever. And it really lends itself to experimentation, which I think that's the core thing that we are kind of bringing with our game.
It definitely does, because they can have attacks that change the affinities of their enemies or their allies, so there's really a lot to take in.
Yeah, that's true, but it's progressively introduced, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be overwhelming for anyone. But in the end, we have these sort of puzzly things that you have to provide your tactics around, but everyone will do it differently. That's really, really cool. So there's a lot of deployables, for instance, like think of it like, a deployable turret, right? But it's not a turret, we're in a fantasy world, right? So it's like more of a fire-spewing oven, right? We call it a fire belcher, and that's really, really, well, I actually like that one a lot.
Yeah, the big mechanical turtle spewing water really helped me out when I was fighting some fire enemies, so thanks for putting that one in there.
Yeah.
And of course, the combat is playing out. It's a real-time strategy sort of combat, but you can stop it at any time and sort of plan out, okay, these people are going to attack here, you're going to buff here, and then we're all going to move towards this. Like, that's really helps you sort of set your own pace in combat.
Yeah, I think the thing we're really going for, and I think we succeeded, is also trying to move away this game from being very heavy on the reflexes side and more towards your tactics and more of what you're thinking, right? So strategizing and then adapting whatever happens.
Enemies. The second thing I want to talk about is building up your castle, because this is a way that you not just sort of customize your empire and expand your territory, but also improve your heroes. There's a lot that goes into it. So
we have this village, which is kind of becoming your player base, so to speak, over time. And this is kind of where your power comes from, right? So it's not about fighting a lot. Your guys don't get more powerful by fighting, but actually by kind of making sure they nurture this base correctly, right, and they grow it in the proper way.
You need to fight to sort of defend your territory and expand and sort of follow the storyline. But when it comes to building up your base, you have these little districts in your village, and you're choosing, you need to output some construction materials to help you build, but then you need to have villagers living there also. There's a lot of different resources that also sort of intertwine to create a little puzzle there.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a puzzle there, right? So it's not super deep, it's not about a city builder, right, in the end. It's just, so there's a sector that you said, and just buildings that are in a sector would sometimes influence each other. So you have to really be careful, like who's buffing who, like is there a bonus here, or is it actually decreasing the amount of resources that are being produced? There's a little bit of a puzzly feel there, but I think it's really light, and I think a lot of people have appreciated it.
And light is kind of a great word to describe the humor. That's the third thing I want to talk about, is this sort of vibe of Champions of Anteria. I mean, you're in this fantasy world, there's all sorts of horrible creatures and noble champions, but...
and war.
And war, yeah, and a realm ravaged by all sorts of nefarious factions. But there's a humor suffusing the whole thing.
Yeah, I think we really try to push that a lot in our game. So we have a lot of humor, we have a lot of interesting characters. Our art is also supporting this in a big way. The thing is that I think there are a lot of games out there that are just very serious, right? So we want to bring away a bit of more of a light vibe to this. Plus, I think it really fits the art style we have.
Ha ha! Is that all you've got? You poxy little monkeys.
Champions of Anteria is out now. It's on which platforms for folks to play it on?
So right now it's out on PC, and it's out digitally, so you can download it off Uplay or Steam.
Perfect. There's one way to end this. Hero pose!
Hero pose!